Okay. All right. Dead last place. Who have you got?
Luton Town.
Okay. I've got Sheffield United.
Interesting. Okay.
I think they've similar to Luton. I've got Luton 19th.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
right
Yeah.
around that point. I think both of them they haven't exactly made any signings to justify them staying up. I can't see it happening. Like
Yeah.
Sheffield United just lost their best player and they've barely made any signings.
And let's be honest, a lot of these teams that come up usually go straight back down.
Yeah,
Like it takes a little bit, a couple of turns into the Premier League to realize what you need to do. So yeah,
they're primed and ready to get promoted back to the Championship.
Look, I feel like with Sheffield, I think like I said, it takes a couple times to come up and down. They've been up recently, went down again. Well, they didn't go straight down though. They stayed up for a season, and then ended up going down. But I feel like you obviously be a few new faces in that squad, but it's going to be a flip of the coin with them. I feel like in terms of staying.
Yeah, I remember.
Leaving.
I remember they came in. They had one really, really solid season with just a bunch of championship level players, but just the system, the coaching, it all worked.
Yeah.
But then they just dropped off, went straight back down, and then I just don't think they'll replicate that.
I've got Luton Town in that position because first off, never been in the Premier League, ever. Literally, their stadium is literally in my backyard.
Yeah,
and yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like they've got the facilities, infrastructure, anything in place in terms of even training grounds, anything like that. I know this all sounds pretty up nose. No, how do you put it? I know it sounds like this is the Premier League. You should have this, that, and the other, but it's just the reality of it all. I mean, you look at even the top half of the table in terms of facilities and infrastructure and where teams are putting their money, in particular. With United, you just see how we've struggled a lot because there's been no reinvestment. With Luton Town, they've got a big payday, and they're going to look to reinvest that, but it's just not going to be enough for them, I don't think.
no.
And look, that's excluding how they play. Like at the end of the day, obviously, they're going to have their own style of play. They're going to try and counteract what the Premier League brings to them, but I don't think they're going to be strong enough. I think there was between them and Coventry to get into the Premier League to begin with. I think they just had a really good finals run. Let's playoffs run, however they put it. They whatever terminology they use with that.
Yeah.
And I think they'll just go straight back down. I think they did really good effort to do well in that in that final stage, but
I think they were sort of interchangeable for me, those last two places between Sheffield and Luton. But I think Luton will pick up a handful of points at home because their stadium being not, quite Premier League level, if you know what I mean. It will actually make it tough for other teams to come there and play.
Yeah, it's a different environment. I get what you're saying, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like they're going to be very overwhelmed. I just feel like they're going to get very overwhelmed. They're going to rock up to your Stamford Bridges and your Old Traffords and Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 60,000+ people. It's going to be nuts for them.
Yeah. I think they'll be enjoyable to watch at least because they've sort of got no pressure on them. There's no pressure on them. They just got to play.
For sure. No, I agree.
There's no they've never been there before. There's no pressure you have to stay up, you have to do this. There's just
look at the Cherries with Eddie Howe back in the day. Same thing. They got promoted. We all know their story, but there wasn't. I'm not going to say there wasn't pressure on him because, like I said, they had this trend of just going up. Obviously, they weren't going to win the Premier League, but I feel like even that stadium on its own, when I first watched the Bournemouth game, I'm like, this is the NPL team. What's going on here? In terms of the grandstands and everything. I think it only fits 25,000 people. I'm not 100% sure. But not a great amount of people. But they made it their own. You know what I mean? They made it their own fortress sort of thing. There was a time with Bournemouth where you just didn't know what result you're going to have when you went there. You just depended on their players on the day. You can play as well as you can, but like I said, it's just about the environment and you said what's about the environment, what's around them, and what they thrive on, these sets of players. So
Yeah.
let's see if Luton are very much that sort of side. We'll see. Like you said, there's not a lot of pressure on them. So yeah, it was probably beyond their wildest dreams that they'll be in the Premier League this season, the start of last season.
Yeah. Well, who do you have 19th?
I've got, and you're gonna probably think this is a bit early. I think Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Interesting.
I think they struggled a lot last season. They got pretty lucky to end up where they did. I think a lot of results went their favour too.
They ended up
not just their own,
13th?
but other people's.
They ended up like 13th or something.
It was something like it was an outlier. Like I just don't believe that they were that good. Yeah, they finished 13th, but they were. Look, it was a pretty close race. They were 5 points away from Everton, who was safe by 2 points. Wolves, they struggled to score very much so, and they've just lost Jimenez as well.
Yeah.
Now, and Jimenez wasn't really featuring as the player he has previously, but
it's the Neves departure that's different.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's the one.
Exactly, yeah. I think their core in their team isn't great. I think they've got decent wingers in terms of
Neto, Chan,
Podence, exactly. Yeah. I think they're great on the side. It's just that middle, that core they're really going to struggle, Wolves. And Jose Sarr, he's a great keeper, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep him in the Premier League. Like at the end of the day, he's going to be asked of a lot. And I think Wolves go down and in 19th.
Yep. Well, I think I've got them in 18th actually.
Okay.
So I think the exact same thing. I think they're on the ropes. I think some dodgy performances last season weren't working out, and then they've just lost Jimenez and Neves. Neves is the one that's like shit.
Bro, they need to, but they won't be able to, mate, because like. Players can see into this squad now, and they can see like any midfielder that wants to go there isn't going to be anywhere near the caliber they need. I think they're not going to be able to get a starting quality midfielder at Wolves in terms of in the Premier League. Like they're going to have to go for, I'm not going to say championship grade midfielder or some young talent from Portugal, let's say. Let's be honest, I'll probably veer that way, as they usually do.
Yeah.
So, I think bringing in, again, a core player that has basically no time to prepare in this squad now, going to struggle.
Yep.
Going to struggle.
Yep. So who you got in your last relegation spot?
The last team I have to get relegated, I believe, is Bournemouth. And I feel like, again, very not similar to Wolves. I think Wolves got a lot more lucky than Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth had a purple patch last season too. I think they had a really good run for a few weeks. I think they won about like 6-7 games in a row. I don't know. It was something silly. Like it was something silly. Like they did very well they went without loss. They lost for like a month or so. But I don't think they'll be able to emulate that this season. I think Solanke up front just isn't good enough in my eyes.
Yeah.
I really don't think that. And I feel like, I don't know, again, it's just like that feel to the team and what they expect out of what they want out of this season. I think, again, they definitely overperformed last season.
Well, they had a patch where they won 5 out of 7 games.
Yeah.
And then sort of lost games around there,
And then, so...
at the end of the season,
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Towards the end of the season, they did pretty well, and I think they did well to stay up. But they were hot. They came up a bit, but they were flirting with relegation a bit last season.
Yeah, they
for
were.
Sure. So for that reason, I feel like Bournemouth will get relegated, and I'll let you know as to why. I think the other teams will stay in versus them as well. Like probably the next 4 teams as to why they.
Well, I reckon we just rattle off from 17th to maybe 10th.
Yeah,
I'll rattle that off. You rattle that off, and then we'll talk about it.
Done.
So, obviously, I've got Wolves, Luton, and Sheffield. My bottom 3. You've got Bournemouth, Wolves, and Luton.
Yep, that's ascending order.
Yep. Now I've got in 17th. I've got Bournemouth, so pretty close to you.
Yeah.
16th, I've got Everton. they just haven't. They're gonna stay where they are. They haven't strengthened anything. They've done nothing.
Yeah.
Then I've got Nottingham Forest, sort of similar to last season. Then I've got West Ham in 14th. I think they've lost Rice and they've not made any big signings. They need to reinvest, and they've not done nothing. And they're going to be in Europa League, so don't know about that one.
Okay.
Up in 13th, I've got Burnley. I think they're going to have they killed the championship, and they look like a Premier League
Interesting.
side.
That's a fair shout. Okay. Yeah.
Then 12th, I've got Fulham. 11th, Brentford.
Yep.
And 10th, Brighton.
Brighton in 10th.
Yep.
10th. Okay. All right. I like that. I don't mind that.
Take me through yours.
Okay. So I did.
You're making some last minute changes.
The last second, bro. Legit. Not because of what you said. I saw where I had Forest, and I'm like, then I thought about what I was saying about Luton, and then I'm like, okay, I feel like Forest. Before I go into, I feel like Forest can potentially do better. Let me just lead with that.
Yep.
But all right, I'll go with 17th. So just to avoid relegation, I've gone Sheffield. Because, again, I think it's just going to be based off of other teams' results. I think, Bournemouth and Wolves just won't be strong enough. And I think Sheffield, again, flip of the coin, like I mentioned, could land on the right way. May not. Not too sure. But, like I said, they've been in the Premier League previously. A few new faces. Though I think the club as a whole may be able to keep them up there. In terms of where to invest their money.
We've got the same bottom four. In different orders.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, I think maybe most people will feel that way too. And then I got next, 16th, I've got Burnley. Again, other teams' results. And I just feel like based off what you've been telling me about them, I think, they did very well last season in the championship. So it's sort of hard to sort of overlook that. Look, there have been other teams that have done very well and then gone down the next season, but I feel like 100 points in a season is pretty big.
Yeah.
And they were literally like a country mile ahead of everyone else in that comp too.
The only problem I have with them is Ian Matson, Chelsea loanee, was one of their standout players last season.
Where was he playing?
Left back.
Okay, yeah.
And now he's come back from loan and he's not going back there again. I think they tried to get him. They tried to sign him, but it's not happening. He's been playing for Chelsea in pre-season on the wing. And he's actually been playing all right. It's a bit odd, but
that is very odd because I can't see under Poch where a wing back would be able to, have a license to go up that far. Yeah. Like have that much faith in a defender to be in the attacking position.
But that's the thing that's got me worried that maybe they won't replicate that form, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they make some couple signings. I might be alright, but continue.
I get you. No. And then this was my little change. I had Forest a bit lower, but thinking now they've still got a bit of money, and they like to spend it. Obviously, as we've seen, and they continue to. And I feel like Forest came very close to obviously leaving the Premier League last season, but it was a team in which you're like, they can do better. Like they should be able to do better. It's just going to be a matter of time. I feel like they've got a well-balanced team. I think with the addition with Alanga now, there too, it's going to be, I think he's very underrated. He was very good at United. There were some games in which he came really close to scoring. He'd be hitting the post quite frequently, but just couldn't have that final finishing touch. And unfortunately, that's what sort of, led him to leave United and, explore elsewhere and get more game time because, I really liked Anthony Alanga. I think he was a very good player. And, I think for Forest, he's going to do really well. You got your Gibbs White there too. I think he might be able to lift this season even further. I think he did pretty well towards the end of last season in terms of getting Sheffield out. Like, you did a lot to lift that team. So, we'll see with Forest. I still feel like they're in, like, the flip of the coin region too.
Yeah.
Just not 100% convinced. But, like I said, I think Forest, we'll see what, I believe, Steve Cooper wants to do there.
Yeah. Continue.
Now, 14th, I've got Everton as well.
Okay.
And then, are we going further up as well?
Yeah, up to 10th.
13th Palace, 12th Brentford, 11th West Ham, 10th Fulham.
Interesting.
I put West Ham a bit higher than yourself. I understand that they've had the biggest midfielder they've had for a long time leave, being Rice. Though I feel like looking at their team, they've still got a lot of decent players like Bowen and Paqueta, and Antonio's still doing all right, even though the bloke, I swear, only scores headers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even joking.
Nah.
It's weird, bro. Like there was like his goals. His goals in a couple of years ago, they highlighted, and every goal was a fucking header. I didn't understand it, bro. I was just like, they never really caught on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I feel like they're gonna learn from last season in terms of their time, their management and of players and resting them, and understand. I think Bowen's gonna lift again. I think he had a terrible season last season. Scored the winner in the final of the Conference League as well. So I think that's good. That definitely has rejuvenated him and made him believe a little more in his ability again, because he killed it the season before for West Ham, and the reason why it was a pretty pivotal reason as to why they were so high up.
All right, so I think the main differences we've got is I've got West Ham 14th. You had them 11th.
Yeah, I've got them
11th.
Yeah,
I just think they're gonna struggle. Like who they signed. Like, they need to reinvest the Rice money the way Aston Villa invested the Grealish money. But they've also got to worry about Europa League. Yeah. I just think it's going to be too much for them, and it's going to keep them down.
But
I do think, though, like you were saying, like Paqueta, I think Paqueta will turn it on. I think he was warming up last season. He was cooking, and now he's well done.
Yeah, man, he's almost got his Michelin star, I reckon. Now, yeah, look, like I was saying, I feel like I think they've got experience now in terms of juggling the two competitions.
Yeah.
As well as the other cup competitions as well. Just that midfield is just going to be a bit of a concern. Though I feel like everywhere else, they're pretty good. I feel like, Souček is still a great midfielder. I think he still provides a lot of threat going up forward as well. And then you got Paqueta as well in that midfielder role.
I'll be honest. I think Souček dropped off a hill last season.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I think Paqueta and Rice were a good midfield pairing.
I think Rice, because he progressed the ball forward a lot more. He's been doing that for a few years now, but I think since Rice has really come into his role, I think it took away a bit from Souček and his ability to go up forward. I feel like they're going to utilize Souček's heading ability and his threat in the box and his height more this season now because of it Rice being out.
Yeah. So, also I wanted to mention, because I forgot to mention about Burnley, is they've signed James Trafford.
He's not from
City's Academy.
City's Academy.
Yep.
That's
ironic.
Confusing.
But the kid's good.
Yeah. Well,
signed for Burnley from City's Academy, and he's real deal. He's real deal. The Euros under 21s England side that didn't concede a single goal the whole tournament.
How many games is that? Well, you got 3 group stage matches. You've got 3
I think it was
knockout rounds.
I think it was about 6 matches,
7 matches
maybe 7.
in a major tournament like that. That's unreal, man.
And Mr. Trafford made a 98th minute penalty save to win the final, because they were 1-0 up against Spain, and then he had to save that penalty, otherwise it would have gone to extra time, and he
Imagine having all of that on your shoulders, not only
at 20 years old.
Not only the fact you're trying to protect your clean sheet throughout the whole tournament, but you've got the country's expectations on your shoulders too, and to come out like that, that's impressive, man. That's impressive. How old is not how old, but he must be very young in terms of his ability. Like, at the end of the day, if he's still in the 21 squad, god damn it, man. Like, he must have a lot more potential to fulfill.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You can see the power of a good keeper with a team that, is trying to stay up. You saw it with Keylor Navas and Forest last season.
Yeah.
He
He's back at
absolutely...
PSG now.
Yeah, well, we'll see how much game time he gets with, Donnarumma being there. But I think he needs to leave there for sure. I think another team that... I don't think he'll want to play... I don't think Navas will want to play that role again, though. So,
no.
But, look, back to Trafford, I feel like James...
James not
Trafford.
old. He's not old. He's actually young.
James, Jimmy Boy Trafford.
Call him Young Trafford.
Young Trafford. No, I don't want to. No, we're not. There's no connection between him and United. Let's make that clear. No.
Except that he's at Burnley.
So, look, Burnley,
Burnley
what
now.
are they really... I don't know. I haven't really looked into their keeper too much. I don't know who they will be starting. I'm just being honest here, if I'm honest with you. Like, at the end of the day, Muric. His name's Muric. So, look, they've got a back four that consists of El Dakil, Daya, Bayer, maybe Ekdal and Roberts. So this team, it's very, very... Goodmanson, he's been around a little bit. Though, we'll see what that Burnley team does. Let's see a young boy like Trafford, break through that squad and hopefully, maybe England have another superstar keeper coming up.
Yeah. Well, Burnley's also got, they got Wout Weghorst back. Wout. No, but they've got their star in midfield, Josh Brownhill. He'll kick it up a notch, I reckon.
Yeah,
he was one of their standout players. But
I don't think Weghorst does anything. But
no, probably not.
I'm just saying that now. What I saw of him last season with us was nothing short of underwhelming, and I think you saw in his reaction about just scoring. I think I forgot who he scored against, but I think it was. I forgot who. Anyway, it wasn't a big club, but yeah, he scored the third goal, and he celebrated like he won the World Cup. So I think in order for him to break through that team again, he's going to have to, really, really prove himself again.